Yo, guys, what's going on? Lucky G7 is here today to give you guys a live stream discussion slash review. I don't know if I'm going to necessarily call this a breakdown, but definitely a discussion video whoa. Uh, let's pretend like I didn't go through that. Wow, that's awkward. Anyway, what I'm trying to say here is that it's not necessarily going to be a breakdown video. Not necessarily. No, yeah, it's more or less just a discussion of how I feel about the One Piece official trailer, live action trailer, I should say, from Netflix. And this is something I've been meaning to do for a long time. I mean, a really, really long time. Pretty much kind of since its announcement, like it's a topic I've been meaning to cover on the channel because I was like, okay, Netflix is doing an adaptation, but given past history, you had Death Note. I didn't watch Full Metal Alchemist, but I heard Full Metal Alchemist's adaptation was okay. And then the other one was Cowboy Bebop, which ooh, I mean, anime adaptations or live action adaptations from anime, it's been like very hit or miss. Personally, for me, I think the best adaptation for live action we've had was Alita Battle Angel. Like, if you read the manga for that and you see Alita Battle Angel, like, sure, it's not 100% accurate, but that movie was amazing. And so much so that now we're getting a sequel for those two. But, needless to say, I saw the trailer for the teaser trailer that came out, what was it, back in June? And prior to that, I'll be honest, my thoughts on the live action One Piece series was like this can go one or two ways. It could be a surprising smash hit, which I was like very, very low on. Like I had my expectations going in thinking, I don't know how I feel about this. And then the teaser trailer came out, and I was like, dude, whoa. That actually looks really cool. I'm not gonna lie, that actually looks really cool. And then yesterday, like last night, all of a sudden, the official trailer dropped. And I gotta say, like, if I was not convinced before, I was definitely convinced now because, like, the amount of time and care they put into the show, and granted, okay, look, the case in point here is that the show is not out yet. That's the big thing. We still got like less than a month away. Not even less than a month. I think like what a month and yeah, month and 9 days, maybe less. Whenever you guys check out the stream, but basically, it's almost upon us. It is almost upon us, and like my tune on this has like changed drastically because, like I said, if you'd asked me prior to the teaser trailer, I would have been like, dude, I don't know, like I was super cynical when it came to this whole live action adaptation for One Piece. Again, teaser trailer comes out, my opinion kind of shifts a little bit. I'm like, dude, this looks kind of interesting. Looks pretty interesting. Not gonna lie. And like I said, yesterday the official trailer comes out. And yo, like if I was not super convinced before, I was like damn near convinced. This shit about to be lit. I'm just saying right now, this shit right here is about to be fire. It's insane. And I guess it also goes to show like the budget too. Like if you notice like the budget on like how much they spent on each episode. Now again, it's gonna show when we get the series on Netflix. But what was it like 18 million per episode? That's nuts. Oh my god, like it's again, I'm at a loss for words here because I remember thinking like 18 million per episode? Shit. Like the thing I told myself was there has to be some like really, really talented people on board. There has to be like real talent behind it, and it has to look goddamn amazing. And so far, from what we've seen from these two trailers, it's showing us just that. It's definitely showing that. Number two, Ichiro Oda's involved. Second I heard that man came into the picture, I was like, this is worth looking into. It's very much worth looking into. And there has been, again, nothing but high praise from like the cast. Like Oda himself has even like said a couple things, and I'm like, dude, if Oda's talking about this, you know, you know, 100% that okay, this is gonna be something interesting for sure, for sure. Now, I'm not gonna do my overall uh analytical breakdown of the trailer, but let's start with the one big thing: the fact that they showed Arlong. Now, I'm starting with Arlong specifically because for a lot of One Piece fans, myself included, like even if you go back to the Four Kids dub, Arlong Park, like shit was real in Arlong Park. Like that's when like One Piece was cool from like say the beginning to when you get Usopp and Sanji, but dude, Arlong Park took this whole series. In my opinion, Arlong Park was like the first initial peak for One Piece. Like if people ask me like where did One Piece first peak, I would definitely say Arlong. That's the first peak point for One Piece. And then if you notice post Arlong, that's when like we get into like all the other stuff. Like let me see if I can pull it up here right now. 'Cause I got the story arcs right over here too. Because once we get to Arlong, we get to Logtown. After Logtown, that's when we get Reverse Mountain, Whiskey Peak, Little Garden, Drum Island. All the stuff that we get afterwards is because of Arlong. And seeing Arlong in the trailer, just knowing that we're gonna be covering up to that is now is it a huge surprise? I can't say it's exactly a huge surprise, but at the same time, part of me was sitting here going like, "Yo, how far are we gonna cover up to for like these shows?" It's because now I don't know if this is entirely true. Maybe it is, but I heard that we're gonna be getting like 8 episodes, I think, and I was thinking, well, okay, if we're getting 8 episodes, how much content could you actually throw into the episodes themselves, like chapters, even like from the anime itself too. Like it was one thing already. You look at the manga and you look at the anime because the anime takes. Well, I say this, but the anime early on definitely, I think pacing was like really great, and it's gotten better recently too. But there was that long little like null period where you're like, okay, anime. Like more so like post the Whitebeard War. The whole Marineford arc, like if you notice the anime post Marineford, it kind of likes to take a slow snail's pace. And then I believe it started picking back up during Whole Cake Island. So my whole approach with the Netflix series when it came to the episodes, if it is in fact 8 episodes, which I think it is, was exactly how many minutes was each episode going to be. And like I said, we still don't know that actually. Like if I were to pull up Netflix right now, not Netflix, but if I were to pull up the One Piece Netflix series like just online, let's see here, 2023 Netflix for One Piece, and yeah, they still don't have an actual estimate on like how long each episode's gonna be. Now the rumor mill is that it's gonna be like 90 minutes per episode, which if it's 90, dude, 90 minutes per episode would be nuts. I am not kidding you. It would be super, super nuts if like each episode is 90 minutes. But then at the same time, I'm kind of thinking, well, hold on. You could cover a lot in 90 minutes. Like, think about it. The first episode, again, and I'm just estimating here, the first episode you could cover, Luffy, his whole ordeal with Shanks, their first meeting, Zoro potentially, yeah, definitely potentially Zoro. Um, Two could be on Buggy the Clown. And yeah, like you could kind of go like step by step. It's like episode two is on Buggy, episode three is on Usopp, four is on Sanji, five is about Nami. so forth and so forth. I mean, and again, that's assuming the episode count's gonna be like 90 minutes, which I don't think it's gonna be 90 minutes. Like the most I could see is like an hour. I think for sure each episode will be like an hour long, without a doubt. But here's the other thing. The other thing we have to talk about here is like the Easter eggs that came with these. What do you call it? The trailer. Because oh my god. Now, I love how the trailer opened up with Rogers and it like immediately just set the tone. Right then and there, similar to the manga, similar to the anime. And we had some interesting cats in like the first, like in just that sequence alone. Like Vice Admiral Garp's there. And I remember I was like watching the trailer and I was looking through it multiple times just to see what else I missed. And I was like, dude, is that Garp? And I looked at the hair and everything, and I'm like, no, that is definitely Garp because you could tell by the little gray areas that he has on his side, and it's crazy. You got Garp over there. Like earlier today too. Like I looked, Dragon's there, and the first thing I had going through my head was, yo, like obviously you don't see Dragon's face, but like if you know Dragon's attire, you know the man likes to wear a hood. So the fact that he had that on, I was like, dude, what in the world? Like Dragon is there during Roger's execution, which makes sense. It honestly, honest to God, makes a lot of sense as to Rogers. Of course, we know why Rogers is there. Why, you know, Dragon's there, Garb's there too. I feel like there's gonna be like some other cats that are in the mix that we don't know about. But let's see, we got Garb, Luffy in a barrel. That one's pretty classic too. Now I got this mixed up. So when I saw the seagull with the hat, I immediately thought, is that like big news Morgan's? Like the thing everyone likes to meme about, like fake news Morgan. I was like, that's not him. And then once I gave it a little more thought, and then I saw other people talking about it, I'm like, okay, it's the news coup. That's essentially who it is. It's the news coup sequel. So that's kind of cool. It's a nice. I thought it was kind of amusing that Luffy tries to be like, "Hey, you want to join?" And he's like, yeah, no, sorry, bro, I'm dipping. Bye." Other Easter eggs that are there. Luffy's Jolly Roger. I love how to a T, it's exactly, and I mean exactly how it's represented from the anime, from the manga. You look at like the initial design of the flag of the ship, and it's a damn near identical. It's impressive. Like it's really, really impressive. Just how distinctly similar it is. Damn near identical too, if you will. I get a chart of the Grand Line from Nami, which I thought was pretty cool. Uh Mihawk's in this also. So yeah, definitely, of course. And we knew that Barati A was gonna be focused on because if you saw the not only just the promotional images, but if you saw the teaser trailer, Barati A was going to be in there. So that at the very least kind of guaranteed that yes, Sanji would be in what's it called? Like in the series. Like we already knew Sanji was going to be in it. It was just a matter of like, all right, at what point is he going to show up? And like I said, we still don't know that. But if I had to take my guess, assuming that it is a gun 50 minutes, then definitely it's going to be, probably episode 5. My best guess is that. My best guess is it's probably going to be episode 5. And hey, look who decided to drop in. Our super resident. Well, yeah, if we want to go by 4 kid standards. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you guys to the cursed devil fruit user.
Ah ha ha, very funny. Hello everyone, Blue Star Saber here, and apparently Lucky Chi has determined that my devil fruit ability is the curse fruit.
I didn't say that. I just said you're a cursed devil user. I didn't say specifically that you have that ability. But you know what? I think people know you already by that. So, yeah, guys, he has the curse ability. Why? Because he volunteered as tribute.
Let's see, lucky for you, that's not an official devil fruit, but yeah, I was currently using my phone because my Chromebook, I've got Wi-Fi back by the way, is currently not really taking for a while to load. So but once I get that in, I'll join the link for that and have my account through there. So yeah, but hello everybody. But yeah, I'm here to discuss the One Piece live action trailer here on Lucky Cheese stream. As depending on where, because at the moment we're up to debate on which channel we're going to be discussing the actual live action show.
And actually, here's the thing, guys. Like this whole stream originally, it was just gonna be me. I was just gonna sit here and I was just gonna talk with you guys on just my thoughts on it. And I'm not even kidding you guys. Like less than an hour ago, Blue was like, "Hey, do you mind if I join?" And I said, "Sure, I don't mind." So
Yeah, I figured, you know what? Let's see. I figured I might as well join you. It could be fun to talk about this trailer. It's the first time we discussed the trailer since the first Ahsoka teaser.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Which, unfortunately, sadly, no one actually watched that stream.
I'm sure there was someone that watched it.
Well, me particular, but
Oh yeah. No, but before I walked away for a little bit, and there's a chance I might have to walk away again here soon. But
well, okay. But before you do that, I am just signing in with my other Skype account. So I mean, with my other stream account. So that, let's see, with a more fitting One Piece logo. So if you could just add me there,
sure,
I'd be more than just happy with that.
yeah, that's
No, at
fine.
least leave this one.
That'll work. Here, let me kick you out first. And now we get him properly. The current
Yes.
user known as Blue Star.
Yes. Whatever. Let's see. Let's see. But hello everyone. Like I said, so with my Wi-Fi back, I am finally excited to talk about the One Piece live action, which I was surprised the trailer was coming out today. Well, yesterday, pretty much.
I was honestly shocked about that too. Like I was like, because I was in the middle of, because I'm in the middle of just rewatching Fishman Island, just because I haven't seen the arc in a while. I was like, you know what? Let me just watch that. And then out of nowhere, the trailer dropped. Like I knew One Piece Day was gonna be today. Like I already knew that, but to think we were getting the trailer, that threw me for a loop. I was like, okay, you know what? On one hand, I didn't get a chance to talk about the teaser trailer. This could be a good chance for me to actually talk about the live action trailer.
That's kind of interesting because it seems that this trailer is, as we know, the teaser didn't reveal, gave us glimpses and hints of certain things, but
I
this
mean,
one is a lot more
I
open on
was
what we're seeing.
I was just gonna say like the one thing we knew from the teaser was that okay, we were at the very least gonna cover Baratier. We knew that because the ship was already there.
Yeah,
So
and also we know firsthand that this first season is covering the entire East Blue saga, but I think this trailer gave more clear of what is like what some of the changes are going to happen, as well as what is actually going to appear in the East Blue saga, with even some changes that actually are quite interesting with particular characters we were not expecting. But yeah, but I definitely say in many ways from what I can tell, while the first teaser came out, most people, I think, while the trailer was reacted positively, I will say people were still a bit skeptical, or some people were mildly optimistic. This trailer, I think, has just gotten everyone hyped. Lucky Chi there. I believe Lucky Chi is gone for people. So yeah, it seems like I am the only one speaking here. So I will try and find. I'll just keep talking for a bit while yeah. So yeah, the trailer, depending on how you let me just get the I'm just actually gonna get the trailer up. The One Piece trailer. As we know, the teaser was like 1 minute and 44 seconds from the Netflix account. Well, granted, it's probably a few seconds lower than that, but the actual trailer is at least 3 minutes. So yeah, and we've got a lot more covered in this trailer. For example, we see Gold Roger for the first time. Let's see, we get more idea of like let's see when Luffy encounters Alavada, and we get more of like Buggy the Clown. We finally get more of Arlong on Arlong Park and a bit of Bartier. And we also get a bit more of like other legendary characters like Hawkeye and Shanks, I believe. So yeah, there's quite a lot for this that's going on for this trailer compared to oops, I gotta close that. Can't have that playing in the background, just in case of worry of copyright. But yeah. So we got quite a bit in this trailer, as well as quite a few Easter eggs. And also teasers of some Easter eggs from certain characters that are should yet to make an appearance, and ideally probably wouldn't make appearances into later seasons, like either next season or 2 or 3 seasons ahead. With it, like say the wanted posters, but yeah, I definitely say it's quite impressive. Just how quickly this trailer has let's see, gained views. I mean, it's gone a total of at least for the first 19 hours, not even 24 hours. It's got 3.4 million views. So it's clearly this trailer is gaining a lot more traction than I think even the first one did. As the first,
I can say that for sure.
Yeah. Okay. You managed to hear most of what I said, or
Yeah.
Fair enough. And now, do you want to go through an entire summary of the trailer, Lucky Chi, or?
No, I'm just basically just going through what I saw from it. So
Mm-hmm.
I was just mainly like before you hopped on, I was mainly just talking about the little Easter eggs that I saw. So
Yeah.
I already talked about the fact that Garp was there, which.
Oh yeah, and in many ways, the most interesting thing is that he's actually there at Roger's execution.
Yeah, because I was like, wait a second, I did not remember that in the manga. So I was like, let me flip through real quick. I'm like, nope, he's not there.
Well, no, Garp was not introduced. Well, Roger was the only character that was introduced in his execution. Well, yeah. Garp wasn't introduced into his cover story, which I assumed most people thought that was going to be a bit covered a little bit, with maybe just a brief scene or two, given the fact that we saw his ship there. So I think that's what many people thought. But it seems like they're putting more of a bit of a Garp's role into the story, which I think it does make sense that Garp would actually be there at Roger's execution, since Garp was pretty much Roger's marine rival. I think that is very fitting that he'd be there.
It would be, especially given the history that we know of.
Yeah, and their shared history. Granted, I wouldn't be surprised if, as we know in the One Piece lore, is that the world government made it look like Roger captured Roger. So I wouldn't be surprised if people thought that Vice Admiral Garp was the one that caught him in the end. Granted, we know Garp probably wasn't like taking credit for things that he didn't fully accomplish by himself. I mean, it's probably one of the reasons why he never talks about the Rock Pirates incident unless it's brought up to him directly. So I wouldn't be surprised there. But it's kind of interesting. But interesting thing is that we also see Garp's ship later in the trailer, and I think he's chasing the Straw Hats down.
Is he?
This is what I'm guessing from like the trailer. If you were lucky, Chi. I mean, as we know, Nami says they're coming after you, Luffy. I assume that this is probably after they've defeated Arlong, and Luffy's got his first bounty. And if I'm out and guessing, it seems they were placing Smoker with Garp chasing Luffy just before they escaped the Grand Line.
I could see that. I mean,
let's see. Sorry, go on.
I was gonna say, like, if I had to take a guess, I'd say maybe by. I was thinking, okay, if I had to take a guess on where this series could end, I'm thinking at the very least Log Town. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, we saw the bow scene in the previous teaser, so we know we're getting some type of Log Town epilogue at the very least.
Yeah.
Whether Log Town itself, we don't know. Lucky Chi there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, sorry. But interesting to know, Oda has recently done a live action, like a double-colored spread. Let's see, interesting. And it does have, like, of course, the 5 original Straw Hats. Granted, let's see, the aesthetic designs seem to be slightly influenced by their live action counterparts, if I'm guessing.
It kind of does look like that, which I didn't think was that really bad of a call, because I saw the colors, but I was like, okay.
And interesting enough that there's quite a few characters in the background, as we see. I think we see Arlong, Hawkeye, Garp, Kuro, let's see, Buggy, Kobe, Shanks, and I believe more. Let's see, Axan Morgan's in the background in that one behind Sanji, and the One Piece logo. And I think this kind of tells us this
Zeph's
might
in there
tell
too, by the way. I don't know if you noticed, but Zeph's there also.
Zeph.
Yeah. Either you gotta like really pay attention.
Zeph.
Chef Zeph? Yeah.
I can't see him.
He's hiding. Like, let me see where he's at. I noticed that when I did my stream discussion on Wednesday. Yeah, so if you look where Sanji is, it's like kind of there.
I don't see it. It seems to be more like Morgan's, to be honest.
Maybe you're right. Actually, wait, no. Yeah, you're right. It's Morgan's.
Yeah. So, yeah. And I think this kind of cover might tell us a bit about who's actually appearing in One Piece, because there are 2 notable characters, I think, that are absent from this.
Yeah.
The first one is Don Craig. It's very possible that the live action
isn't there yet.
Yeah, it seems like it's possible that Don Krieg might be cut out so that Arlong and his crew will be partly in Bartier, so it's to make them sort of like a longer-term antagonist for the season, I guess.
I could see that.
Yeah, and let's see, and to be fair, I think Don Krieg is probably the lesser of all of the villains.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. Like, as far as I remember, I don't think Don Krieg. I think Don Krieg is like one of the only ones that hasn't shown back up yet.
Mm-hmm. So yeah,
like, especially right now in the manga.
Yeah, I mean, you could. I mean, because at least with Arlong, his legacy is impacted with like Nami, and then later with Jinbei. So you can't keep
Fisher Island too.
Yeah. Let's see, Kuro, mostly because it's for Usopp's development with the Going Merry and all that stuff. And not to mention, Django does become a recurring Marine later down the line. So granted, Django isn't really all that important in terms of the Navy, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see what the final saga does with Django. but I doubt that's among Oda's top priorities. But the other character I've noticed missing is Smoker and Tashigi, which I think, let's see, it's very possible that the live action is either omitting Smoker, at least for the East Blue, and waiting into the Baroque Works or Alabaster Saga to actually cover him.
Yeah, we honestly just gotta see what they have because, well, let me see who they got. So if I'm looking at the casting correctly, okay, let's see. We got Shanks, Kobe, Arvita, Helmeppo, Morgan's there, Buggy, Kaya, of course. Obviously, they wouldn't exclude her. Clawhador's there. Who else is there? Chef Zeph, obviously. Mihawk, Arlong, Nojiko, Garp, Genzo, Yasop, Kurobi, and oh yeah, that's the other thing too. So I don't know how many people caught this while watching the trailer, but if you noticed during the execution, Dragon's there. So
yeah, I know. Yeah, the Green Hood. That's what many people are assuming that is Dragon. So it's interesting because if my prediction of Garp taking over Smoker's role, and that being like the Logtown thing, but more like a ship chase thing instead of the actual execution platform, I could be wrong, of course.
yeah.
I mean, I can see why the execution platform might still want to be there just for its long-term symbolic meanings, especially if they're going to introduce a character like Bartolo Mello in the future. But I'm pretty certain. Let's see. It's very possible that since Garp is going to be they're going to have try and Garp chase Luffy, which it would be interesting because this might be his attempt. You could say this is his attempt to try and stop Luffy becoming a pirate. It might be possible that you get Dragon interfering with his own father to let his son choose his own destiny, if you will.
Which actually, now that I think about it, I mean, look, would it be cool to see Smoker? Yeah, obviously. Like, I think Smoker's a cool character. Of course, I'd want to see him in the show. But here's the upside to it. There's an upside and a downside. One, you lose a pretty core character like Smoker. But on the upside, and I will say this as a longtime One Piece fan since 2004, if we, let's assume Garp's the one that takes the mantle, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get an interaction that we have yet to see in the manga too. That's the other thing I want to bring up is that if we get a confrontation between Dragon and Garp instead, I mean, I don't know about you, but that to me.
Well, yeah, I mean that would be a mind blow since for the longest time, Dragon. Let's see, as far as Garp has been concerned, he seems to be very casual about Dragon and what he is and a revolutionary. He seemed more concerned about his grandchildren, if you will, with like Luffy and his adopted one, Ace.
Yeah.
For the longest time. Now, granted, it's only the last two One Piece chapters with like the Aokiji flashback, the flashback he had with Aokiji, that's revealed that he was at one point annoyed that his own son had become a revolutionary, which might imply that before Luffy, he didn't intend to have Dragon perhaps be his initial successor. Before, let's see, he moved to like Luffy and then Ace in terms of blood relatives, and then let's see, possibly Aokiji as well, I guess. But then, of course, now he has Kobe, which since Kobe might be a bit of a more, it's possible that Kobe might also get a bit more of a important role here as you get Luffy perhaps. You see perhaps maybe more chance to build up the Kobe and Garp dynamic and master and pupil relationship. Because in many ways, Garp and Kobe is like the Jiraiya Naruto teacher, master, and student bond for the One Piece Marines, at least.
Yeah, Jiraiya Naruto.
Yeah.
Deku and All Might.
Yeah, the Deku All Might, Yami and Asta, maybe. I don't know. Maybe that
Maybe.
might be. Maybe that one's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know about that one.
Okay, maybe Gojiro and the main character for Jujutsu Kaisen, maybe. Is that one?
Oh, Itadori? Yeah, maybe.
Let's see. But I guess it's mostly All Might and Deku, Naruto, and Jiraiya at the moment.
Maybe Ichigo and Urahara, and I say maybe on that one. There's a huge maybe on that emphasis.
Let's see. Maybe Piccolo and Gohan.
Yes, that I think that's a better comparison.
Let's see.
Piccolo and
Okay.
Gohan.
I don't know, but let's see. Though, granted, Piccolo's more of like the former enemy turned ally, but rather than like an old his master thing. But yeah, so I could see
it is superhero top tier, and that's the one Dragon Ball Super.
But yeah, now does that mean they're going to cut out Smoker entirely? Not entirely convinced because of like Smoker does, even though Smoker, despite the initial hype, he didn't play much role in the first half. Well, except for maybe Alabasta a bit. There is the fact that he is a major character in Punk Hazard, and we have to wait and see what Oda's planned for him in the final saga. I mean, so far we haven't actually seen him in the final saga, and we've seen actually for the first Tashigi a lot more in the final saga compared to like.
That's the thing I was going to bring up is that like, technically speaking, Smoker's like real first appearance doesn't really hit until Lockdown. So
yeah,
I mean, here's the thing. I think there's a chance we could still get Smoker in Lockdown. I just don't think he might be the person that goes after them, at least at that point. I think that's a possibility.
Let's see, but I could also, like I said earlier, possibly see they work around Smoker to be more of a Marine stationed at Alabasta. That's where he counters Luffy and all that stuff.
Which I could see.
Which I think it could be more fitting for there. Now, granted, I will say the one downside of not having Smoker be the Marine that chases off Luffy first is the fact that you have to wait until the second season to get a Logia fruit user.
I mean, hold on. If I remember correctly, now I was talking about this earlier before you popped up, but is it confirmed that we have 8 episodes for?
Yes, it's going to be 8 episodes.
Okay, so
yeah.
If I'm guessing this correctly, then I'm assuming we're covering up to Lockdown then.
I assume that we're going to cover up to Logtown or some form of Logtown-ish with the finale at the very least.
Because I was going to say this. I have my doubts we're going to hit Whiskey Peak.
Because, we're not going to have Whiskey Peak. I think they're going to save that for Season 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I think from what I can tell from this trailer, I think it's very likely they changed Logtown to like Garp chasing Luffy. It seems like they've also changed Orange Town to like a ship battle on buggies and pirate ship circus thing. It's very possible that all the side and supporting characters from Orange Town, like the mayor and the dog, have been cut out for a more confrontational ship battle with Buggy the Clown.
Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that it is gonna be interesting, like doing a side-by-side comparison. Because I mean, like I think I mentioned this on my own. I think I mentioned this on the chapter stream. In case I didn't, I'm currently doing a day-by-day reread of the manga, like each night with one chapter. So right now, like I just finished up volume 2 yesterday. So it's gonna be really interesting to see, like what differences are there and what actually kept.
And I can see how this might work because from the looks of it, Nami is going to be joining Luffy and Zoro in the Romance Dawn arc with like the battle against Axe-Hand Morgan.
But I mean, here's the thing: if we want to talk about adaptations, like Nami technically does see Luffy in the first episode of the anime. That's not so changes like that. I don't really think are that bad.
Yeah, and I think it seems like that in this, at least in terms of this part of the adaptation, the live action's following more of the anime in terms of that.
Yeah.
which is fine, but I can see why it's. I can see why they want to condense. I can see why they at least want to have possibly like three of the first three main characters introduced in arguably like either the first or second episode, compared to like how most shonen manga takes quite a few chapters before introducing all their main cast. I think.
Well, it does also kind of. I know Romance Dawn's there are two versions of Romance Dawn that Oda did as a one shot before he did One Piece, but in those two, from what I remember, there were like two female characters that looked. You can kind of say they were like the prototype for like who Nami was gonna be, like
Pretty much, what if Nami had like either blonde or blue hair? Pretty much.
Yeah. You could kind of say, I forget which one of their names were, but one of them you could kind of say, well, okay, that's probably the prototype for Vivi, then.
Probably the prototype for what?
For Vivi.
Maybe.
Maybe. Not exactly, but blue hair and everything.
But yeah.
I didn't know. Now, here's the thing. If you're not a One Piece fan and you're watching this, like, you're going to be like, okay, that looks really, really cool. But if you're a big One Piece fan like me and Blue, you're going to notice a few things that are like, okay, here's the thing. I saw the wanted posters that Kobe and Luffy were looking at, and I paused a couple times because I was like, wait a second. I saw Bellamy, saw Foxy, Cavendish was there too. So
yeah, that one surprised me.
Yeah, I was surprised about that too. I'm like, okay, so
I mean, we do know that in verse-wise, Cavendish is currently the big-time Wookiee from just like the year before Luffy and other supernovas and Rush Generation make a name for themselves.
Definitely.
So in some ways it makes sense, but you'd see. But it seems to give a clear hint that if the live action is able to make it up to Dressrosa, Cavendish is gonna likely. It's like at the very least, it's very possible that Cavendish is going to at least be one of the characters that makes it into the live action.
Oh, definitely.
Which, to be fair, I can see why. Because out of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet, I'd say the three characters that you can probably arguably make keep in the live action are probably Bartolomeo, Sai, and Cavendish, because they seem to be arguably the three main captains out of the seven in the Straw Hat Grand Fleet, and arguably possibly the strongest ones.
I could see that.
I mean, let's see. Is it possible that Leo and Hedron could appear? Possibly. I mean, granted, that require quite a lot of effects to put to use, I think, with those two. And it really depends on the budget for the live action if it gets to Dressrosa. But I think it really depends on if they want to do budgets for those, because I can see later importance for those two with like Leo due to whole Dressrosa stuff and Hydrogen due to Elbath. But other than that, let's see. I can see the long arm boxer Edo and Columbus. I can see those two being cut from the Straw Hat Grand Fleet. They're not exactly major. They're not exactly major fighters in the Straw Hat Grand Fleet. The major ones, to the very least.
Yeah, definitely.
So I can see those two being cut. But at the very least, we know Cavendish is going to be there. But interestingly, what surprises me the fact that you got Foxy, because that means it's very possible that we might get a long ring, at least one episode with like for the Davy Black fight. We'll see before we get to Ennis Lobby and all that stuff.
That's possible.
Let's see if we do get to Ennis Lobby, but it could be like the one episode warm up before the drama goes there. But it's interesting because there are at least two arcs people consider to be relatively fillerish that you could probably skip in One Piece. The first one is, well, you probably might get offended by this, Skypiea, and the other being
You heard that right here, folks. Blue likes to be the Skypiea skipper.
No, I'm not saying it myself. I have watched the anime adaptation of Skypiea, and I will admit it's a pretty good. But
Wait, you finally watched it?
Yes.
Hey, yo, guys.
I mentioned it like months ago.
Blue Star upgraded.
But yeah, I watched it months ago, Lucky Chi. Let's see.
No, that's just been a long time tease we've had with you. So,
yeah,
you know.
I've been met, and I put in the group chat. Clearly, you weren't paying attention, but yeah, but generally, when you hear people talk, you can hear there is some that say skip Skypiea, and the other is, of course, skip the Davy Black fight or the Foxy arc, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Skypiea actually does have a huge relevancy, even right now to the story, so it's not like you can't skip it per se. Long Ringland, though, I don't know.
Yeah,
that's the if there's one arc I can agree with, yeah, Long Ringland's just.
I mean, the only real next significant thing is with Aokiji at the end, building up towards the CP0 Robin and Nico Robin's past.
Yeah, that's about it though. It's really just that.
Yeah, but I think most people, like I was saying to Skypiea, it's due to the fact that while in a sort of inverse, sort of thematic and even foreshadowing way, I can see the importance of Skypiea building up arguably long term of what Luffy's going to do. The main conflict in Skypiea doesn't really connect with the overall world of One Piece, to be honest. So for many people, it feels like a very long filler arc. I mean, it's like a very good arc, but I can see why most people can find the conflict with the Shandians, with the NL and all that stuff, Shandians and the Skypians to be a bit irrelevant to the grander pirate and world government pirate struggle for the One Piece and even the conflict with the world government. I mean, granted, there's some lore dumps that are there, particularly the fact that Gold Roger had some connection to the polyglyphs and the location of Poseidon, but it's very likely that I think I've seen some people comment it's very likely that the live action can work around it so that they don't really do a full-on Sky Island adaptation thing and just do a brief stop by that and do all the important lore dump stuff and not do all the sort of long conflict that you get there.
That, honestly, tackling Sky Island would be interesting to see in live action.
But it's very likely they could mostly skip that, but who knows? But since Bellamy is in the poster, that at the very least we're going to probably get Jaya.
And y'all know what that means. Zeha is going to show up too.
Yeah. But in many ways, it's pretty hard to skip Jaya by itself because, well, you've got, like you said, Blackbeard. You get introduced to the world, the five elders. Let's see, it's Sengoku, Vice Admiral Suyu, the Blackbeard pirates, of course, Whitebeard, and two members of the Warlords, Doflamingo and Bartholomew Kuma. So yeah, there's quite a lot of major characters that get introduced in that one particular arc.
You can say that again.
So yeah. So yeah, those bounty posters are quite a surprise. And for I think the reason why she was probably shown in those posters because, well, you've probably seen her in either the previous episode or at the beginning of this episode. I mean, it really depends. But I will admit, I do like Luffy's joke that where's my poster?
Yeah, right.
It's like
I cracked up as soon as he said that. I was like, all right. You know what? On one hand, this is cool.
Yeah.
I'm okay with this.
Yeah. As we know, Luffy's one of the few characters that gets excited for his bounty. I mean, granted, arguably most pirates would probably get excited with their bounties, but some are just shrug off the price like Law, or go no, like Nami and Usopp. But Luffy is just arguably one of the most enthusiastic to getting a bounty.
Definitely.
But yeah, I do like the reaction you get Kobe from that. But yeah, oh yeah, I will probably say I do like for the execution platform how they have Roger say the whole wealth, fame, and power thing.
Yeah, that's very symbolic, both to how the manga starts off and of course like the anime with its first opening intro.
But yeah,
power. So.
mm-hmm. But yeah, I will admit I do like the choice they gave Roger and all that stuff. But yeah, but granted, we'll see. But going back to like the whole dragon cameo, we do now thanks to Strong World tie-in chapter, which is technically canon. We learned that Dragon was there along with Shanks and Buggy, as well as 4 of the future warlords of Hawkeye. Gecko Moria, Crocodile, and Doflamingo. Which many are now thinking all those five, and with Buggy there, those 5 warlords are all going to be part of Cross Guild later. But but it's very possible that we might, very possible we might get cameos of those characters to build up to later seasons, and I can possibly see maybe a Crocodile cameo, maybe in the execution at the very least, because if this gets green light for a second season, Crocodile's going to be the main antagonist for it.
I was going to say this, like, if I have to take a guess on what the okay, if this does do well, which, based on how the trailers are looking at, here's the 95% of the time, trailers can be like hit or miss. I mean, look, Spider-Man 3's had a huge resurgence recently, but like, if y'all remember when the time came for Spider-Man 3 like releasing, and y'all remember the trailers, like people were hyped as hell for Spider-Man 3, rightfully so. But then you get the then you get the movie, and it's like,
yeah,
is that what we were promising? But
well, Spider-Man 3 seems to have gotten a bit of an upside in reputation over.
Yeah, that's what I said. It was that recently it's gotten that.
Arguably due to the power of the memes.
Yeah, Spider-Man 3 went through a prequel phase, essentially.
Yeah, arguably, and you could also bring up the fact that when the Phantom Menace first came out, people were very excited over the trailer. Then, not so much when they saw the film, but then it's got a bit of a revival. And the other film I can probably think of, from what I can tell, at least from what I could see from Nostalgia Critics' perspective, he really liked the Pirates of the Caribbean 3 trailer, but found the overall film disappointing.
I mean, I was going to say this. Like, personally, for me, when it came to Spider-Man 3, I liked it. I did. I mean, yeah, sure. Is it as good as Spider-Man 2? Ooh, I don't know if I can say that, but I mean, I personally liked it when I watched it.
I suppose for me, I mostly liked it. The moments everyone found cringe, I found cringe, but it took me a very long time to rewatch it again. But yeah, as well as the entire Sam Raimi trilogy. But I will admit I probably should have watched it a lot more than I should have. But yeah, but then again, I didn't really own all the DVDs, so it took me a long time until like they were all kind of come back for the Homecoming, No Way Home trailers. But yeah, but not getting into that. I will say, we don't quite necessarily know every pirate that's cameoing, but we know Dragon is at least for the thing. But it's interesting how we're getting quite a few pirates rioting from when Roger's saying his words. So, which to be fair, I think would be a bit more of a realistic portrayal from when an execution like this is happening.
Yeah, I do know that when it comes to especially if you're adapting from an anime, that like you are gonna have to take certain liberties like that. Okay, is it gonna will it be like as goofy as say the anime? I'm gonna say probably not, but I'm pretty sure like the sense of humor of what One Piece has will still be there.
Yeah, I mean, you can even see that when you first see Luffy trying to get a news coup to join his crew, and he just and when it flies off, he says mutiny.
Yeah, right.
Which is interesting because I don't think I've ever heard the word mutiny, or at least I don't hear the word mutiny often in the One Piece manga.
Have they said it officially in the manga? I don't think they have.
I mean, it's kind of interesting because that's because that was a very common thing with pirates back in the day.
Yeah, so I guess in a way you can say, well, okay, if we're gonna localize it a little bit, mutiny, I guess, would be proper term pirates would use. So
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
it's not a huge thing that grab.
yeah. Now, granted, it would be funny if there's a few times you had the Straw Hats commenting "mutiny" when
As like
Luffy
an
goes.
ongoing joke. Oh my god, dude, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah, especially when Luffy does something stupid. That would be funny, but yeah. But yeah. I definitely say the actor who's portraying Luffy is doing a very good job. What's his name again?
Here, let me pull up the Wikipedia page. I know. For the first time, I'm actually pulling up the Wikipedia thing. That's usually Blue's thing. Actually, wait, no. I'm looking it up on Google. So now I'm gonna butcher this guy's name. Wait, if you're watching the stream, which I highly doubt you are, but Anaki Godoy.
Yeah.
Goldie. I mean, yeah, Anaki Goldie. So
yeah, I think just because of that guy's enthusiasm of playing Luffy that he's managed to win people over.
It's not just that, but the dude also like recently like just met
the voice actor for Luffy.
Yeah, the voice actor, which I was like, that's cool.
Oh yeah, that was cool. And not to mention, besides in the of course the latest chapter, you also had that Shonen Jump cover with Luffy with his live action counterpart.
That was nuts.
Yeah. Arguably, I think that's the first time they've had a live action that had maybe a live action actor on the Shonen cover. I could be wrong. I think I do remember a time when there was when they had Naruto on with like a lot of young Naruto fans all dressed up like him.
True.
Let's see. I could be wrong, but it's very rare to see a live action figure on the Shonen Jump cover thing.
Now, okay, let me say this. So Blue knows, and I mentioned this earlier, like right before Blue joined, but when I heard they were announcing a One Piece live action series, I was like, I don't know, given like past history and everything. But the one casting choice I saw, I was like, you know what? I could see something, and that's the actress who plays Nami, Emily Rudd. Like the few instances we've seen her in the trailer, I'm like, okay, that's definitely Nami right there.
Yeah, and it looks like they've captured that dramatic scene with Nami later down with the straw hat.
Oh yeah, it definitely looks like that.
I think that is arguably the bit that either make or break the One Piece live action.
Mm-hmm.
Because arguably it was like before the Arlong Park, the One Piece was just like probably for many people like an average goofy shonen manga. But when Arlong Park comes around, arguably maybe Baratie its wealth, but Arlong Park for many people is like the first truly good or great One Piece arc.
No, that's what. Yeah, and I mentioned that too. Is like, look, even when I was watching it via the 4Kids dub, like when Arlong Park hit, like shit got real. Like people say, okay, and like I love Alabasta too, but really, like if we're talking like early, like deep early One Piece, Arlong Park is like the arc that like puts like One Piece on a pedestal. Like it sets the course for everything because after Arlong, you get Log Town, you get Alabasta, you get Skype, you get all that stuff. Just after Arlong,
Yeah, and arguably it's the One Piece equivalent of the Land of Waves arc.
Yeah, you're right about that. It kind of is.
I mean, granted, even though at the moment it's only the sad, tragic story of Nami that you feel here, but the Arlong Park is the beginning of a very long story arc involving the Fishman Island and the Fishman race and the history of prejudice that comes with that, with the world nobles, with the Shabby arc, Fishman Island, and arguably some of the stuff we see throughout the thing, and especially with the character Jinbei. Which, interesting, was going to be originally an antagonist for the Straw Hats, but ended up becoming a Straw Hat himself. But yeah. Now, granted, I think, from what I can tell, it's very possible that two characters probably going to be cut: Johnny and Yukisa.
Yeah. I mean, let's be fair. Like, were they cool characters? Yeah, they were kind of cool. But have they? They haven't really made that much relevance, like since that arc. So
Yeah. I mean, granted, yeah, the only thing of relevance with them is that Yakuza had that bit of info dump on the seven warlords. But I could easily see that just being replaced with Sanji just talking about it, explaining it to Luffy, and maybe Usopp and Zoro, because it really depends if whether or not the Straw Hats are going to be separated first before arriving at Arlong Park, or if they're all going to arrive there together.
Yeah.
Since one part of the trailer shows the four of them looking around at Nami's hometown and like the orange fields, but and I would assume that this was the four of them walking together, but there was also they were encountering a farmer, and also the big Straw Hat walk-in moment from what we saw when they're heading to Along Park also included Nami. So I think they might have changed that a bit. So I can definitely see Johnny and Yukisa being cut.
Which again, like, it's not a total loss per se.
I mean, they're fun characters, but I can see why they might not be important.
Yeah, and by the way, guys, this is coming from One Piece purists, by the way. So if it's okay with us for the most part, then it should be cool.
Heck, and it's because face it, let's see, because we've seen from other adaptations sometimes cuts are necessary. For example, in Harry Potter, they cut out the Peeves the Polygist. I mean, he's a fun character, a troublemaker, and all that stuff. But I can see why they cut him out from the films.
Yeah, I mean, like here's the thing, like, and I mentioned this earlier too, but like the last like really good live action adaptation was Alita Battle Angel. That's only because I did read the manga for that, and very similar to that, to this where Oda's involved. You did have the main mangaka of Alita Battle Angel like be a part of it too, and like actually see what happened. So they had they worked around some things in that movie too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Anyway, let's see. Other than that, they also cut out most of the house elf stuff with Harry Potter, which arguably probably was for the best because let's see, face it, the house elf storyline is kind of aged rather poorly with people looking more into it. Let's see, with Harry Potter. But there's also also Lord of the Rings when they cut out Tom, that Tom Badbull, that one dude that can't be invisible when putting on the ring. That mysterious entity. Peter Jackson cut him out of the film, which arguably I think many people said that was probably the smart choice.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's stuff like that. Now granted, let's see. It'll be very interesting. Now, granted, yes, Harry Potter's getting a new rebooted live-action TV show, so it might include
not really necessary that we need it, but
no. Arguably, I'm saying arguably that's being done because most of the Harry Potter cast is not coming back to do a cursed child adaptation because of the whole J.K. Rowling controversy with her views on trans people. I think that is probably the more likely reason. So Warner Brothers decided to do a TV show reboot. Let's see, so they could keep that, so they can keep using the Harry Potter IP. But yeah, but who knows what they cut and keep? We'll have to wait and see. And yeah, and we do know that there's also the Percy Jackson Disney Plus show coming out. We don't know what they'll cut or keep on that. But
you guys can already tell how I feel about the Percy Jackson one, but, based on just how my tone just went. But I won't say much.
I mean, granted, I can understand why some purists might not like some things changing and being cut because the original Percy Jackson movie. Well, it completely it can change a lot of things that for many people it became a lot lower quality of film. Yeah, but yeah. Now, granted, I know Lucky she liked the Alita Battle Angel one. Me, I saw it once. I wasn't sure if I liked it or hated, but
you didn't get a chance to check out the manga. Though.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't know how faithful adaptation is, but I will say for me, in terms of the adaptations I have seen of live action for anime and manga, for me the best one was was Bleach, the Bleach movie.
Yeah, Bleach was a good one.
And it did one change that I kind of liked, but having Grand Fisher
yeah,
being...
I did like that one too. That was
yeah,
fun.
I think that story-wise, I think that makes sense to make that as the main hollow villain for Ichigo to fight because it killed his mother. And that gives a bit of a personal conflict there.
I was gonna say there's one live action adaptation that's still bothering me to this day. Death Note. How do you mess that up? That, like, if you were to ask me, like, okay, what's the easiest anime manga to adapt in live action? I would say Death Note. Death Note was like super easy. How they mess that up? I mean, look, you got Willem Dafoe to voice Ryuk, which I thought was perfect casting, but
everything else was just not Death Note for you.
Yeah, it's like what?
Fair enough, but yeah. But granted, I heard the Death Note creators like the adaptation, but I'm not sure if they were just trying to help promote the film, but who knows? I could be wrong. But yeah. But I suppose we should probably get more to the trailer.
Yeah, I'll say this, Buggy doesn't look as creepy this time compared to the teaser trailer, because I remember watching the teaser, I was like, oh...
Yeah, they were going for...
This man looked kind of creep. Okay, I'm up.
Yeah, they were going for like a very Joker vibe there. It's like, I'm all for it, so...
I was up for it. I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
If they want to make him sinister and creepy, that's cool.
But I do, but I do think it works for like for at least this first saga, because Buggy is at least supposed to be somewhat intimidating for the first saga, since that's like when Luffy's just starting out as a super rookie and it's just a new beginner rookie pirate rather than a more experienced super rookie.
Definitely.
So let's see. Buggy becomes a bit more of a gag character as it goes later down the lines.
I mean, you want another example of Buggy being a gag character? Look at Stampede. That is Buggy is a meme in that.
Yeah. The clown charisma is strong with the memes. But I do think, even though Buggy doesn't look as intimidating as he did with that one shot from the teaser, I do think that he gets a very cool moment when he seems to be fighting Zoro and Nami for a bit, and we see his chop powers.
Oh yeah, dude. The way the devil fruit powers are being displayed here in this trailer, because we saw only a glimpse of it in the other one. Here we actually see it, which I'm like, you know what? Because I heard they spent like 18 million per episode, and I can see how now, because this, like, and again, we're just only seeing it from the trailer, so.
And I do like how he's going like the chop cannon.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was an actual move he had in the manga. It's been a while since I've seen the...
I'm currently... Well, let me think. I just got to the part where Luffy and Buggy are about to, like, have their, like, fight. So, I'll let you know if that's what he says there. So I don't know if that was accurate, but I think it's going to become a bit of a recurring joke from what we saw at the end of the last teaser, where Luffy says, all great fighters say out and name their finishing moves, and the Zoro then says, no, we don't. And it's like, this might be the first example of like someone using their names, and it's like Luffy saying, see, I told you. As I think that's going to be a bit of a recurring gag, at least for this first season, until Zoro says his own attack name. At the very least, as he becomes more warmed up to Luffy, which I think we've seen in this trailer he's going to do, because, well, so granted, the dialogue seems a bit different, but he seems to be having that "I'll never lose again. Is that all right, King of the Pirates" moment. He seems to be like, let's see, when he said he acknowledges Luffy as his captain. So, yeah, we do now that. But the one thing this trailer did show is we did actually get a glimpse of Hawkeye. We did. Which
I'm not sure if I saw it. Which I will admit, I wasn't sure whether or not Hawkeye was also next to, on the other side of Dragon in his cameo for Roger's execution. I could be wrong.
Maybe.
But at the very least, let's see. But at the very least, we finally got the glimpse of Hawkeye, and well, this is arguably going to be like, well, granted, from the last teaser, we saw Sorrow fighting someone, and I think many people suspected that was the former Mister Seven, because we know that Zorro killed that guy off screen before he met Luffy, and some people were wondering if we're actually see that fight in this live action.
Yeah.
But at the very least, we know that Zorro is going to be fighting Hawkeye, and well, granted, it seems Hawkeye is going to be using more of his black blade than the little knife thing, which, okay, I think to be fair, it'll be a bit difficult to just have Hawkeye fight Zorro with just a knife in live action.
It works with anime and manga, but if you're trying to go for a live action approach, yeah, that's going to be a little bit of a challenge.
I mean, granted, you could still show Hawkeye just putting very little effort into fighting Zorro, but at the very least, we know that he's let's see, he's at least fighting. He's going to be at least fighting Zorro. So yeah. Granted, we have no idea if Hachi. I mean, as far as I can tell, I think we saw most of Erlong's officers. The only one we haven't seen yet is Hachi. So we don't know if he's going to be in a live action or not.
Now, here's my other question: do you think we're going to get the cow suit creature?
I can see that being skipped just for budgeting reasons, but then again, we do have the Lord of the Coast.
I was going to say we saw the creature that takes away, Shanks's arm. So
yeah, and we do get a bit more of an actual look of Shanks, which I will admit doesn't necessarily look like the Shanks we kind of suspected, but it could be very much they're mostly doing this one based more on performance than likelihood of appearance.
I've seen a lot of people go like, "Is that Robert Downey Jr.?" There's a lot of comments I saw that's like mentioning him like being similar to him.
Let me just take a look at the One Piece.
Well, if you're looking at it on Twitter, so
yeah, I'm just kind of looking at the TV series. As far as I can tell, Shanks is being portrayed by Peter Gaydar.
Yeah, I know. No, they were just saying like based on how Shanks looks in the trailer, it just gives like that vibe.
Yeah, so who knows? It's very possible they might do it like that, but we'll just have to wait and see on that bit.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they're going to do the Sea Cow or Mumu or Momo. I keep forgetting his name.
Well, let me see real quick. Momu. There we go.
Yeah, Mumu. It's very. Let's see. I mean, they managed to do the King of the Coast, so I could see them including it. But it's like I understand maybe not cutting him out and not having him being all that important, even though he's partly responsible for why Caribou ended up being stuck with the Straw Hats for Fishman Island.
Yeah, he does kind of show back up there.
But I could probably find them trying to do another way of sneaking Caribou into that if they're going to adapt Caribou at all for the live action.
It's kind of a joke though too.
Yeah. I mean, granted, we do know he's got the key point, the fact that he knows at least the location of 2 ancient weapons, but we just have to wait and see who he's going to give that information to. But I can see him being skipped as being cut out as not important if we do get to adapting him in live action.
Definitely.
But yeah. But at the very least, but yeah. Oh yeah, I think one thing to note that that was in the live action is we saw Mary. I mean, Mary. I mean, the butler.
Yeah, the one like right before Curl like stabs in the back.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, like we do get that shot too. So
yeah, like the claws from behind and all that stuff. So yeah. So we don't know that he's going to be there, but it's interesting. Now, granted, it's very likely that the Going Merry ship might be built before before the end of the arc and all that stuff. That I might have changed a bit because I think the teasers showed Luffy meeting Usopp at the port.
Which I was gonna ask, how do you feel about the fact that the Mary has its mouth open? Because I've seen some people go like, I don't know how to feel about that. I mean, personally, to me, like it's not. I don't think it's that big of a deal. But if you're doing a side by side comparison, it is kind of like, okay.
I think it's more of an aesthetic choice. I mean, it's nothing too bad. I mean, let's see. The Mary looks kind of nice. I mean, I think, face it, doing the entire cartoony design wasn't going to work.
Oh yeah.
That said, you still get Luffy's bad drawing with a straw hat flag, which
looks really accurate, by the way.
Yeah, and looks pretty good actually.
Yeah, right.
I could let's see. You wonder if like they would actually keep that in live action, but they kept it. They kept it. So
Oh, yeah, they really kept it.
Props to that.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell by Nami and Zoro's reaction, they're not very fond of that flag. But it's interesting that in that bit you have Luffy calling them the Straw Hat Pirates because, from my understanding, the Straw Hats are called the Straw Hat Pirates until after Alabasta, when Smoker talks about Luffy and Zoro's bounties.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny. It's kind of weird when you think about it because you'd think that's what they call. You think you'd hear them call themselves the Straw Hats straight away, but they don't really until it's not until the end of Alabasta do you hear the name Straw Hat Pirates.
Yeah.
It's kind of, let's see, insane to think of.
You can say that again.
But yeah, so I think that is thing. But anyway, is there any other cameos you want to talk about?
Well, how do I feel about the way Arlong looks? I'll go ahead and say this out of the way. I think Arlong looks really cool, like design-wise and everything.
Yeah, I definitely say that. I have to admit, I wasn't a fan of it at first, but I think after watching it, it's grown on me. Granted, I think they've done quite good with the detail on the nose. Though, granted, I'm not sure about the rest of the body. I mean, but granted, I think one thing that was always going to be difficult to do with this live action is make the large human figure characters actually big. They're going to be normal size. That's going to have to be accepted.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to have. You're not going to have Whitebeard as this, sort of half giant figure kind of thing. You're not going to have that with the admirals either. They're all going to be life size people. The only thing you can do is make sure is that they end up being portrayed by tall people.
Mm-hmm. That's for sure.
So, sorry for the one, but
no, you're good.
So yeah, let's see. But granted, I think Chu was also seen briefly and all that stuff, but I think the main one that was seen was the one that Sanji fights. What's his name again?
Kurogi, I think is how you call it. I think that's his name, right?
Hold on, let me just get the. I'm just gonna get the casting. Let's see. Let's see. No, wait. Hold on. Sham, an officer of the Black Cat Pirates. Okay. I know his casting. Oh yeah, Kurabu. Yeah.
Yeah, that was him.
So yeah, we know him, but I think there was maybe a brief glimpse of Chu in the trailer. But so far, like I said, we don't have Hachi, which is a bit weird because you'd think that would be the one they wouldn't try to skip, since that's the one that has rather significance later down the line.
Yeah.
Granted, it just might be his character's just not being announced yet. So who knows? But we'll have to wait and see. Now, whether or not it's gonna fully adapt each of the Straw Hats' battles against the Fisherman Pirates remains to be seen. Though, at the very least, we do know that Sanji briefly fights Kuro at Bartier, and we know that we see Arlong at Bartier, so it seems like they're combining the two arcs a bit.
Which isn't bad necessarily.
Yeah. Which I've commented earlier of the Don Craig stuff, so I'm not going to repeat myself, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very likely instead of just Nami hijacking the Going Merry, it's like it might be possible that Arlong is there to come and take Nami back.
Yeah, like kind of force her.
Yeah. Which could be interesting, but we do know that there's the Bellamy grave, so we're going to get that adaptation.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, let's see, from what I can tell, her sister has not been announced as a cast yet. We do know Genzo has been. But Nami's sister... Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. She has been cast. So, yeah, my mistake. So, yeah. Interesting. I don't think Gyro or I've forgotten the right hat. I've forgotten the hypnotist.
Django?
Django, yeah. It seems Django has yet to be cast, so it might be possible that he's been cut out.
Maybe.
I'm not sure if Full Body has been cast, but I don't see his name. So yeah, but yeah, Lucky Chi, there are 8 episodes. Do you want to hear what their names are?
Oh, wait, did they already list out the titles for them or not?
Yeah. Episode 1, Romance Dawn. No surprise there.
No surprise there.
Episode 2, The Man in the Straw Hat.
That one's probably going to focus on the flashback.
Number 3, Tell No Tales.
Okay.
That one might be the buggy one. Episode 4, The Pirates Are Coming. That's clearly a reference to Usopp.
Definitely Usopp focused, I could tell that.
Episode 5, Eat at the Bartiet.
So that's Sanji's episode, I can tell.
Yeah. And then episode 6, The Chef and the Shore Boy.
Okay.
Episode
so
7.
Basically. Yeah.
Yeah. Episode 7, The Girl with the Sawfish Tattoo.
Arlong, yeah.
And episode 8, The Worst in the East.
The Worst in the East. Why does that sound familiar?
Well, that's when Luffy gets the 30 million bounty and all that stuff, probably.
Yeah, that's when he gets it. Wait, Worst in the East? That would be...
Yes, that you could apply that to Arlong, but I think it's going to be referring to Luffy because by the end of the saga, he becomes the most wanted man in East Blue.
Oh, yeah, I know. I'm just thinking. No, yeah, you might be right about that. Well, we'll just have to see.
But yeah. Well, granted, one thing I do like how in this trailer, it does seem to emphasize that the Sora and Sanji rivalry is coming in a bit more earlier.
I do like that. And also, okay, I have to wonder, did someone on that production team actually watch the 4Kids dub? Because I'm only saying that because when I heard the British tone for Sanji, because I'm so used to the dub voice for Sanji, the same person that does oh my god, what am I blanking on his name from DBZ? Trunks, yeah, I'm so used to him doing the voice for Sanji, so I was like thinking maybe that might do something similar with that, but the other approach, which I'm not against. I'm like, okay, so
well, I guess they're going with a British voice acting for Sanji's more gentleman-like qualities.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, well, if they're going with the more gentleman tone, then yeah.
But granted, yeah, I know that he sounds British because he says arsehole rather than asshole.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that, by the way.
No, it's just that in Britain, we tend to say arse instead of ass.
Yeah, so Lou got the win on this one. Representation.
Well, to be fair,
I'm joking.
all the Straw Hats sort of match the sort of diversity or ethnicity that Oda's described from the looks of things.
They do. Which
Luffy looks like someone from like well, granted, I don't know where. Hold on, let me just check the actual actor's origin. Okay, granted, the Luffy actor's Mexican, but okay. Oda described Luffy as being.
I'll say this: I think Luffy was always going to be like a tough person to cast.
Yeah, I mean, granted, Luffy's ethnicity of origin, at least from what Oda says, would be Brazilian, but still, Luffy does.
Yeah, I was going to say. So I guess if you're taking it into that account, well, it's
but at the very least, Luffy is being portrayed as at least a South American.
Yeah.
Kind of let's see, ethnicity at the very least. Mm-hmm. Zoro was always Japanese. And okay, well, Oda was a bit controversial, perhaps just saying Africa for Usopp, which some people assume South Africa, or did people think Oda referred to Usopp as just fully Africa? But at the very least, we know that Usopp is, of course, being portrayed by Jacob Romeo Gibson,
mm-hmm.
who seems to be a relatively new actor. Same with like the Sanji one, because it seems like let's see, the one who plays Zoro, I think, was in the live action of Ryun Kenshin that came out recently, and the one who played Emily Rudd played a character from a trilogy of, let's see, horror movies.
Yeah.
I believe Cindy Berman. Okay, granted, she's only in like two of those films, but still. But yeah.
Yeah, like for the most part, they're relatively unknowns, which I'm actually okay with that. I like the fact that we didn't get like, big name actors aboard for.
Well, I think one, let's see, advantage is that you don't have to get people just associating with the actor rather than the character themselves and the actor over the character.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean.
But yeah, they've done the diversity casting quite well, I'd say.
They did.
But I think the one thing that probably impressed me in this trailer is arguably the Gum Gum fruit powers.
Yeah, the way the Gum Gum abilities are being showcased, I mean, it's like nearly identical to a T.
They definitely got let's see the bit where he stretches out his mouth a bit, quite accurate.
That too.
But I'll definitely say the thing I was really shocked is the fact, granted, I wasn't thinking I was going to see this anytime soon, is the fact that, though granted, Luffy might have done it in the actual Airlong fight, is that they're actually doing the Gatliant. I thought that would be one of the more difficult ones to do. But
I was kind of surprised by that too. I was like, okay.
I mean, that's like, damn, that looks good.
Honestly, I'm kind of shocked they're showing that in the trailer. I figured they would save that for the show.
I mean, granted, I think many people were like worried that Luffy's Gum Gum abilities look bad in the first teaser like that, but I think people are just going to have to accept that as an artistic style. But
well, the other thing is that, like, see, doing like the Gum Gum abilities, like that was always going to be kind of difficult to do in live action anyway. If you're really about it.
But I think with like when you see Luffy do that against that Gatling against Arlong, I think it has me convinced that it's going to be very good.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But also, I have heard rumors that the teaser was done a year ago before they had a year again to re-edit all the stuff that Oda wanted to include.
Which, if that's the case, because I was going to say, like, when you look at the teaser and compare it to this, like, that's a huge leap in quality. But considering that, if that was just made 1 year ago, and you see like the official trailer, which was made recently, then yeah, obviously, like that's a year does make a huge difference when you look at it.
Oh yeah. So yeah, and not to mention, I think let's see, Oda just recently also posted something else when talking about the news of this let's see a trailer thing. Let me just get it up and I think let me just get it up from one of my Twitter accounts. Oda did recently leave a message. Do you want me to share it with you, Lucky Cheese, so you could share it on your screen?
Well, we can just talk about it.
Okay, fair enough. Because Oda had like a recent message saying about the live action. So the live action One Piece, the teaser and the trailer are now out, and the launch date for the show itself is set for August 31st. Now, I'll say this: there's no compromises on the show, and the festives have already begun. It's already fun seeing the flurry of reactions after seeing release of information. And the very fact that this adaptation of One Piece into live action was conceived 7 years ago is wild. How will this world be brought to life? There was so much that went into it. All the efforts by the actors, the building of the world, and the costumes present things in a way that can only be done in live action. The dialogue and the entire process of so many people putting their heads together was a festivity in of itself. After the launch, I'm sure I hear about some people pointing out that this character is missing or that scene is omitted, or this bit is different from the manga, but I'm sure they'll come from a place of love, so I intend to enjoy, even though those comments. Low. The story will span 8 episodes and take us through you know where. Even after the shoot was over, there were numerous scenes in production agreed to reshoot because I felt they weren't good enough to put into the world. On the other hand, there were also some lines that I thought didn't feel like Luffy on paper, but when I saw the film scenes, I went, it works when it's Inaki performing it as Luffy. As a matter of fact, it works great. Inaki is the actor who plays Luffy. There were so many things that had to be done to keep things from looking too unnatural in live action. The producers and crew are pros at live action, and frankly, they're One Piece super fans too. The more knowledgeable you are about One Piece, the more you're likely to notice the love they poured into this. It was June when we made the final decision to go ahead and launch the show. My editor, who'd worked so hard on this, actually cried as he said, "It was such a long journey." Low, not that working hard on something guarantees success, of course. By now, I just love this production team and the cast so much. I can't wait for them to get the acclaim they deserve from everyone around the world. And if by chance people have some grips, I'll be there to receive them together. Now, whatever feelings you choose to harbor in the meantime, it's still going to be 1 month, so please have some tea and as you wait. So yeah, that's Oda's message.
Huh. And I mean, like I said, like you can really tell just from what's there, what's shown to us.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, but I suppose getting back to Luffy's Gatling powers, we actually see the stomp kick that he uses to defeat Erlong.
We do.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, like, it is something where I'm like, you know, it would have been cool just seeing that in the show itself. But I guess, you know, if you are like a huge, big One Piece fan, it's one of those things of like, all right, you got to convince them. So
yeah.
I guess in that aspect, it's like,
yeah,
okay.
At the very least, we know that's going to be the finishing move. They're not changing the finishing move at the very least.
Yeah.
Another thing of interesting note to change is there's quite a few of these scenes that take place at night. Or in the dark, if you will, which might work well for the effects, it's particularly with Buggy and against Erlong as well.
Yeah, I was going to say that, like, the color contrast in the scenery is one thing I did notice. I was like, oh, okay, certain scenes are happening at night. But I think that's a good thing.
And I think it'll probably work well with the whole Nami and Luffy hat thing because, let's see, Nami's, in a sense, it might match with the theme of One Piece because, let's see, the world is in a long night, but the dawn will come, and arguably Luffy that brings about it. because we see with like not the hat thing with Nami, it's happening at nighttime, but when you get the Straw Hats walking into the Arlong Park, it's starting to be sunlight. So, in a sense, it seems the show's going with the stylized thematic theme of, let's see, there's a long night on this island or this place where there's tyranny, but the Straw Hats come and a new dawn with them, if you will. So I think it can also be a bit of a thematic choice as well. Lucky Chi, you there?
No, I'm there. I think I was trying to figure out like how to word it, but I think you said it perfectly. When it comes to like, just that aspect, and the whole symbolic themes, if you will, of having it happen, like during the night, and like sometimes people say like when you hit the lowest point, like it's like you're like kind of like engulfed in like darkness, right? But then the whole what's the thing? Like there's always like that light at the end of the tunnel, and that could kind of be like when the sun rises and everything,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think it's become more clear that there's like the world of One Piece is there's always like this darkness or this night, and then the following day there's like this dawn for like whenever the Straw Hats arrive, and that's I think that's become pretty obvious when it came to Wano with like Toki's prophecy, and also when the Minks talk about the Will of Dawn or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so we know that this is it's a clear as day. This is arguably that some of the changes are fitting more of the thematic things of One Piece. So I can see this working quite well in that regard. So,
yeah, and I mean, if we get little changes like that, again, little minor changes like that, I think it even like strengthen it too in a lot of ways,
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I'm trying to think like, is there anything else?
Well, I think there's that bit where Nami just calls Sanji and Zoro idiots when they're fighting each other.
Yeah, it's always the thing too.
I guess there could be that bit with like Luffy and Kobe talking about what it means to be a pirate. He's like, "Why do you want to be a pirate?" But Luffy's talking about fun. But it's kind of like you see Luffy's words contradicting what pirates are actually like, to be honest. But the one thing, I guess, the most interesting thing is the fact that we've got I think we've got Alvida being we've got this one actor called Eliza Issa Polinaru, I think, and I probably mispronunciate the name, but as far as I can tell, she seems to be a relatively new actor. But the one thing as a note is she going to just be a one-time villain, or are they going to actually have her? Because arguably,
I was gonna say is if we're gonna get Lockdown, then I'm pretty sure she's gonna.
Yeah. But it's just wondering, it's like, is she just going to be a one-off villain, or is she going to be part of Buggy's crew coming along the way, like we see in the manga? Because we do know that she ends up being like the third or fourth devil fruit user, but of course she slims down. But let's see. But I'm not sure if they're going to do that with this actor here or not. But we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Because from what I can tell from like the images of her, she fits the more Aveda pre-devil fruit, but not really necessarily post-devil fruit. Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, actors and actresses also go through like a really.
But then again, it's very possible that she could still have that devil fruit next time we see it, but they just do a few slight changes.
Well, you also got to consider this too. Like actors and actresses, they do go through like a rigorous
but
so how they look in one scene, and how they look in the
I feel like it'll be a bit of a stretch to have her be that at the beginning of the One Piece production set to like towards the end of the One Piece production set, especially when she's portraying a character that looks like this in the first episode compared to what she might portray in the last episode. But like I said, we don't know if she's going to be just for that first episode where Luffy rescues Kobe, or if she's going to be more of a part of Buggy's crew later down the line.
Yeah, we're really just gonna see what.
Because I can possibly see the staff just cutting her out after the first episode.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we still got like a month left before we actually get it, like the full scope of like what we're gonna be getting. You know?
Yeah. Well, arguably, it might probably be beneficial if the live action doesn't have every female character match the Nami clone body type. But yeah, I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see. So, is there anything else you want to say quickly, Lucky Chi?
Well, I'll say this. I definitely think in terms of like cameos, and I mentioned earlier, I could see them like teasing Crocodile, like maybe as like a post-credit scene.
But
maybe
it's well, like I said, it might be possible we might actually see him at Roger's execution.
Yeah.
At the very least, I can see him, Hawkeye, and Dragon being there.
Yeah.
Doflamingo and Gecko Moria, that's a bit of a...
I mean, here's the thing. The closest tease we get to Doflamingo's Bellamy. So we know Bellamy exists in the live-action series. It's just a matter of like, okay, we know Bellamy is initially a part of, Doflamingo's crew, so...
Or Doflamingo's organization.
Yeah, so eventually we'll get there. Assuming things go well with the, reception and everything.
Okay, but yeah. I mean, at the very least, we'll at least get the first season of first season will be at least East Blue, which arguably making that into 8 episodes might be the smart thing to do, since that'll be much easier for casual Fritzy fans and audience. Because I think one of the problems with One Piece is it is a very long series, and that can put off people. And for some people, East Blue is not arguably probably one of the weaker sagas. And some people are like, I don't want to wait like 100 chapters to get good. So it's like 8 episodes you can kind of get for that. And in some ways, I can see people saying at the very least, if the first season ends up being good, they can arguably say, just watch most of like the first season of the live action One Piece to try and get in, and then try and read some of the other stuff in the manga later.
That is, honestly, I was about to say the same thing, is that like, I could see this kind of being like another route of people going like, like, I don't know if I could sit through 1,000 chapters or 1,000 episodes, but going through 8 episodes, it's a lot more manageable,
Yeah.
In that sense.
And if they like it so much, they might try and doing the manga and anime adaptations later. But at the very least, we do know that our friend Chat is become quite curious in watching this live action adaptation.
Yeah, we've also got, and that's one series we've been recommending to her for ages. It's been a long time.
Yeah, unfortunately, she just couldn't get into the art style.
Which, I mean, and to be fair, the art style is pretty subjective. It's one of those cases where it's like, all right, if you can move past the art style, then I think you're going to be fine for the most part. Because it is one of those things where it takes time for the person to get accustomed to, like, like how it looks, aesthetically and all that. I mean, again, personally for me, I was with it from day one, so there's not really much of an issue on my end.
Arguably, I will admit, One Piece is a bit more goofier art style than the more serious ones that you expect. I mean, arguably, it's closest to like the original Dragon Ball, if you will.
Yeah.
Before it went to, most anime mangas are probably drawn more similar to like Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, I can see this trailer working, and given the amount of reaction and positive response I'm seeing from famous One Piece YouTubers, it seems this trailer has managed to win a lot more people over than the first teaser, at the very least.
Oh yeah, like, and again, I know I stated this earlier, but you can ask Blue. Prior to like even the teaser, I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
this, like, I was my approach on the live action series. I was super cynical about it. I'm
Yeah.
like, this
Yeah.
isn't gonna be that great.
Arguably, I was probably one of the few people that's actually kind of optimistic from this live action, but that's probably because I was paying attention to some of the things people were saying behind the scenes.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I knew some things too. Like, I knew, like, like they were gonna cover like 18 million per episode. I'm like, that's a lot. But then, I saw the Baratier. I saw what that looks like. I'm like, okay, location sets and everything. Like, you can make them look really accurate to the manga, but my whole thing was going to be like, all right, how are the portrayals going to be? That was that was my big thing. So again, watching the teaser and then of course watching the official trailer, like my tune has changed drastically. From the day this got announced. So
Yeah. For many people, this might be the live action that actually cracks the formula for anime and mangas at the very least.
yeah,
I mean, we do know that video games and comic books have at least managed to at least do well for the last 2 decades at least. That they were that in like the 2010s they were the dominant market force for blockbusters.
mm-hmm.
I mean, granted, you could argue that the 2000s as people are seeing that as more of the decline of it, but I'd say it's more of a hit and miss at the moment.
True.
But with like this year, we seem to have gotten like it seems like studios have gotten the crack of the video game adaptations.
We sure have.
But yeah, but it's possible now that with this live action, you might start to get the crack of like anime and manga, and it might lead to future anime and mangas being adapted as well. Though, arguably, if they're going to do a live action of Naruto, they're going to have to do quite a lot of changes from the source material to, I think, make it work.
I was waiting on that. I was like, I knew, like, as soon as we started talking about like potential live action adaptations, I was like, I'm ready. I was like, there's a Naruto part that's gonna hit. And
Yeah, okay.
I'm not teasing Blue about that because I thought about that too. I was like, if this does do well, this could lead to Naruto, which okay, look.
Go on.
Part one, I think is honestly fine for the most part. I think the biggest issue you have to tackle is Shippuden for sure.
Yeah. Arguably, there are probably some things you could change in part one as well, just to get some of the other members of Team 7 more involved.
Yeah.
Let's see, and maybe some of the K11. But yeah, but I definitely say part two, they are definitely going to need to do some changes, and I feel like they'll probably try and make some of the more K11 cast more involved with like the Akatsuki conflict, since, well, it just probably wouldn't be acceptable to just have those characters fade out long term.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. So yeah, I could see something like the Hidden Kakuzu arc. You would probably might actually see like all of Team Yamato fight Kakuzu.
True.
But that will probably be more when we get to the actual live action discussion of One Piece there. But yeah, but in many ways, Netflix might be trying to make One Piece their Game of Thrones or something like that.
And you know what? Here's the thing. For anyone who's curious, I got rid of my Netflix a long time ago because price got. There was a time when Netflix was like $5. Let me be specific about it. There was a time when Netflix was $5. Then they started increasing the price, and I was like, well, one, it was the price. Two, it was also because like at the time their catalog wasn't exactly, need I say, stellar by 2017. But you know what? If done well, I might actually come back with this show.
Fair enough. But yeah, Besides that, they might also be trying to rely on the Avatar one, but then again, the Avatar creators left that. But
I was gonna say like the Avatar one was always gonna be hit or miss for me.
but then again, but it depends on whether or not you think the Avatar creators are all that creative. As I think after Legend of Korra, the fan base became a bit more mixed on the creators of Avatar.
True.
I mean, I mean, I did see a lot of anti-Bryke on the Tumblr back in the Tumblr days when I looked at the tags, so I could be wrong, but yeah, but I definitely think like One Piece might be Netflix's main live adaptation of something. Well, okay, granted they have The Witcher, I know, but still. But I'm not sure if The Witcher is like their Game of Thrones, really. I mean, I do know that the Rings of Power was supposed to be Amazon Prime's let's see answer to that, but who knows? But at the very, I mean that was controversial with just JRL Tolkien fans in general, and at the very least you have Disney Plus trying to do Percy Jackson, so who knows? But yeah, but you've got all these shows trying to find their live action TV show adaptation and all that stuff. So whether or not, let's see. So we'll have to wait and see if One Piece does the cracking.
It's going to be interesting. I'll say that for sure. It's going to be interesting to see, where this leads come the end of August. Sure.
I mean, as far as we know, there's not been a season 2 announced yet. I think they're waiting to see how well this season.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking too. I feel like they're waiting to see what the results are going to be with season 1, and then again, if the word of mouth is super positive, that'll definitely lead to season 2.
Yeah, I feel like if it definitely stays in the top 10 on Netflix trending things for a while, I can see this getting a second season.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah, but in many ways, it's probably the perfect time to have this live action since One Piece is now on its final saga, and it's very possible that when it finally gets to the time skip seasons, they might the final saga might have already just about ended or just about on its ending point.
I mean, here's the thing though. Even if we are on the final saga, we're still going to be here for at least another 4 or 5 years, guaranteed.
Yeah,
I don't think we're ending anytime soon.
Yeah, I'm partly convinced that Oda might just end it on like the 30th anniversary, as I've told Chi before. But I could be wrong, and it might just be a year or two extra.
And hey, I'd be totally fine with that too. As long as we have a satisfying ending, because look, I've been a broken record about this for a couple years now. And Naruto, how you feel about Bleach is how you feel about Bleach. Personally, I can take it or leave it.
Let's see. From what I can tell, most people found the Bleach War arc to be worse than the Naruto one towards the end.
Talking towards the end, yeah. But as far as as a whole, I would still probably give it to Bleach for being better. But if we're talking endings itself, look, the two for me still. No, the top still for me goes to AOT. I don't care what anyone says. And look, I have faith in Oda, okay? Because he's the one gearing the ship right now. Okay? Yeah. If anything happens to One Piece, y'all know who I'm targeting. So.
Oh boy. But I think Oda has planned this for a long time, and I think his involvement in this seems to have paid off as well.
Definitely. Which, I mean, hey, look at it this way. We're still technically on break now. Because, okay, so here's the weird thing. We're on break. It's Oda's break because, he's still coming off from eye surgery. 2, we are getting a chapter, not this week, obviously, but the following week. And then we're getting the Shonen Jump break, which basically means the entire publication goes on break for that second week. So the second one's not just an Oda thing. Now, does it suck that, we're not getting chapters for, let's say, we're getting bi-weekly release? Yeah, sure, that kind of sucks. But on one hand, hey, if Oda gets his rest, I'm totally fine with it. Totally.
Yeah.
And judging from what I saw earlier, it seems like we're going into the climax of the Egghead arc. So
Yeah. Which, if I had to guess, we're probably going to get at least another 15 more chapters in Egghead. Round 5 to wrap up the stuff that's going on with the York and the Sephram. And
yeah,
possibly, and I feel like at least 10 to do the Kizaru and Saturn Marine battle and a siege, if you will.
yeah, I guess it depends. Like, if I have to, okay, the earliest I could probably say, and again, I'm estimating here. Earliest I could say, like, not October, like let's say late September at the earliest is probably where I could go down.
Yeah.
The latest I'm thinking mid October, early November.
Now, granted, it's very possible that due to some of Oda's breaks, especially the eye surgery, it might even be December or even next year. But we have to just hope that Oda doesn't get has to take any more long-term breaks.
Yeah, we just gotta wait and see.
But yeah, but at the moment, yeah. But I think Egghead is close to its climax soon, and then we'll probably get something like either a mini arc or maybe something like Elbaf next.
I don't think Elbaf's next. I don't think that.
Okay, then probably something like a mini arc first.
Unless you count this as the mini arc.
Well, I think this arc has gone about more than 20 chapters. I don't think you can call this a mini arc at this point.
True.
Egghead. I think it's like Egghead arc. Let me just check how many pages it actually is in this one.
I'm looking at it right now. So if I'm looking at it, it's been 30. It's exactly 30 chapters.
So yeah, I don't think this can be considered a mini arc. This is like an average standard arc, I'd say.
It's close to around the same length as Zoe, almost.
I think it's getting closer to more Marineford and Imperial Down.
Let me see.
Egghead arc.
Actually, no. Yeah, no, I think you're right. Maybe around there.
So yeah.
Give or take. But, aside from that, you guys, that's pretty much it. We've pretty much hit the 2-hour mark, which not exactly super intentional for it to have lasted this long, but I still had fun.
Yeah, arguably, you might have been finished an hour soon if you didn't have me about, but who knows? I do like to talk a bit.
Don't blame yourself about that, but it was still fun having you around, too.
Yeah.
Just talking about this.
Yeah, and you did have a few absences.
Just a couple, but I managed to come back in.
Mm-hmm.
And aside from that, guys, that's pretty much it. The next time you'll see me do a One Piece related thing on YouTube, well, I've got two things. There's going to be the post live stream discussion that I do when the official chapter drops. I don't know if that's going to be tomorrow, but it'll probably be Monday. And then later on that week, I've got a Luffy discussion video that'll be coming out soon, which will probably be that weekend.
No, I am. Let's see. I am planning to try and do my review of One Piece chapter 1087, which I know I'm behind after this stream. But if you're more than welcome to join me, Lucky Chi.
We'll see. I mean, I know I've got a couple of things to take care of too, but
all right.
I'll probably tune in through like the comments or whatever.
Okay.
And aside from that, guys, that's pretty much it. I'm Lucky Chi 7.
I'm Blue Star Saber.
And we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
Bye for now.